Richard, thanks for, as always, joining us this morning. Taylor Lewis was the commitment announced for Arkansas football earlier this week. 300-pound, 6'3" D tackle out of the College of the Canyons, if I remember that right. What's he bringing to the table, man?
Sometimes when you're talking about junior college guys or just prospects in general in football and even in basketball, you always think, okay, are they the listed size that they say they are? And he is definitely the 6'3", 295, 300 pounds that he was advertised as. So that's a plus. He did make an All-American, second-team All-American team as far as JUCO. And you mentioned College of the Canyons. That is a good program. I've talked to several kids through the years from that program. He had a pretty good offer list from, obviously Arkansas, Auburn, Nebraska, Missouri, Oregon State. He visited Oregon State and Washington State. But if you look at his film, he looks good on film. The only concern that you might have is junior college. You just don't know what kind of quality of opponents that they're playing on a consistent basis. But, at least on that level, he played very well, and he was able to get some pretty good schools coming after him. And Arkansas evaluated him, liked him. And after talking to him yesterday, I think he's a guy that really appreciates the opportunity to play at Arkansas in the SEC because he came from the south side of Chicago and some rough times for him. And he if you talk to him, you would just be so impressed about his maturity and how far he's come over the last several years. He's really a mature young man that's gone through a lot.
Richard, do you think Sam Pittman is happy with the transfer haul that they brought in this offseason?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. I mean, and the good part is so many of them were on the campus during the spring and were able to go through off season. After the guys as far as came from the portal got on campus in January, Coach Pittman was saying that he wanted to get two more defensive linemen and a receiver. He did that. And I think as far as the receiver, I think you got to be pretty happy with him. Matt Landers, he's a guy that gives you a lot more, gives you a lot of size, 6'5", about 200 pounds, and it appears that he's got pretty good speed to be able to stretch the field. And Terry Hampton, I remember him at El Dorado, and he, poor guy, just had a lot of tough luck at El Dorado. He played a little bit as a sophomore and missed basically his junior and senior years because of the injuries. But I do remember him going to a combine, one of those Nike combines, and he tested very well as far as the athleticism. And from what I understand, that was a strong suit for him at Arkansas State. So, yeah, I think if you look at the guys that they were able to get out of the portal and at the positions that were of need, yeah, I think Coach Pittman's pretty smiling right now.
All right, Richard Davenport is with us. It's Recruiting Thursday here on the Morning Rush. RD, last week we talked about June being so stacked with visitors for officials and unofficial visits coming on campus. You had a good list, kind of a working list that was fluid. It seemed like every weekend was stacked up in June. What does this weekend look like, and how busy will Sam Pittman's staff be over the next week or 10 days with guys coming on campus?
Well, this weekend they really won't have guys on campus because they're going to be at some satellite camps. But next weekend, that's when it heats up. They do actually have a young man on campus right now, Brendan Marshall, a cornerback from Lake Mary's, Florida, who's a pretty highly recruited four-star defensive back that Arkansas has been recruiting for some time. He's friends with Raheem Sanders, so that's a plus, but he'll leave sometime this afternoon. But as far as this weekend, they're supposed to be out on the road. I think they're going to be at an SMU mega camp. They're going to go to Georgia, and I think they may be going to St. Louis. I forget the third City, but they're going to be busy with satellite camps this week.
Well,
the weekend.
Dallas and Atlanta sound like two pretty good places to be recruiting in.
No doubt. I mean, that's. I mean, you go where the fish are, so to speak, and that's where they are, and they're going to be as far as in Georgia, they're going to be in Kennesaw, which is just right outside of Atlanta. So you know that they'll see some talent. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Through the years of satellite camps, they've discovered a few guys here or there. But I don't know if the satellite camps have been, highly productive over the years.
Remember when that first came out and everybody was up in arms because Jim Harbaugh was going to come to the South and do all these camps and save it, and everybody was all. Remember how big a deal that was when satellite camps and the structure that was announced, and it's turned into be a big nothing burger.
Yeah, overall, I agree. Yeah, and I remember that Harbaugh. I mean, it was he was milking it. What? Oh my God! I think his staff was. It was. I can't remember all the details, but they were at so many satellite camps, and I remember that first year. I even went down to Miami for a satellite camp because that's when Coach Bielema was here. And you just at the time it was kind of an unknown. You didn't know. Well, you just kind of assumed. Well, they'll find a few guys here or there out of these camps, and they may have it. And my memory may be failing me, but I don't think it's been a huge asset.
Let's shift gears for a second. Yesterday, Eric Musselman tweeted out the numbers for the new roster and the guys that are arriving on campus, but they're already working for the guys' names that will be on the back of the jerseys coming up. Everybody talks about AAU in the summer, and you can clarify all this, but really the EYBL that's the most elite of elite in summer league and summer action that Nike puts on. You wrote about a 4-star Wesley Yates that really lit it up in Louisville that Arkansas is on. That's the top level, and looks like they're going after top talent again in the EYBL circuit.
Yeah. I usually, in the past, I'd go to these type events, and most of the time it would be in Vegas because they would be about 3 or 4 major events, and I'd talk to a few, high caliber 4-stars and maybe a 5-star, but in Louisville over the weekend, I talked to multiple 5-stars that Arkansas is recruiting and 4-stars. With this staff, it's high caliber prospects all the way. I mean, and they're able to get their attention and get them on campus. And I think you're going to start seeing that not only what they got coming in June, but probably in the fall too. But yeah, Wesley Yates, I was really impressed with him. He's 6'4", 215. One thing that really stood out to me was his lower body. I mean, he looks like a defensive end linebacker type, but he moves exceptionally well for his size, and he's so physical, and that's what I was talking to him about. He's so physical because of his size. He gets caught, and you could probably talk about this, Tommy. He gets called for fouls just because guys bounce off of him. And but he can shoot from outside. He can go inside. He is definitely a mismatch at the guard position, and a guy that at first you look at him, you say, "There's no way that guy can move that well," but he does, and he's got a very good game, and he had an excellent weekend, and he was the third. He made third team. Louisville EYBL team. So. He showed out and had a very good weekend, and he says he'll probably either visit this summer, as far as official visit to Arkansas, or in the fall. But looks good there, as far as at least getting a visit.
All right, a quick note on that: it's 5-star they're after out of that Louisville. Is it Marvel or Marvell Allen? Another 5-star prospect that they're looking at too out of that Louisville EYBL.
Yep, yeah, he's a guy that could play the point, could play the 2 also. A guy that seems to be pretty excited about being recruited by Arkansas. A lot of these guys talk about the 2022 recruiting class, and all these kids pay attention on social media and the rankings and everything. And when you're number 2 in the country, only behind Duke, that gets their attention. And then when you start recruiting them, they feel like, okay, hey, they're recruiting at the highest level possible, and they're recruiting me. I must be pretty good. So they feel kind of honored, and he felt like that. So Arkansas hasn't offered him just yet, but that's still early in the process. Still a lot of evaluation periods for Arkansas to go see him this summer. So we'll see what happens.
Richard, we'll leave it there, man. Thanks for joining us as always, and we'll talk some more recruiting next Thursday.
All right, buddy. We'll see you guys.
All right, Richard Davenport here with us on the Morning Rush, joins us every Thursday.